We are continuing our shiurim on Matbayah Bracha. We are on shiur Zion, if I'm not mistaken. And last year we had discussed what's called the zivug achitza. That means we're bringing down the shefa on the chitzendika side. Remember, we're all working with bringing down the shefa, which is called the shefa de Yanika, mochem de Yanika, or shefa de Katnus. We're working in a preliminary stage in order to get koach, in order to mamish get the proper shefa, which is called mochem de Gadlus. So it's a preliminary stage. The paltzufim are drawn. We draw down for the paltzufim this called mochem de Katnus, this energizer. That's going to give them a koach to go up and get the proper shefa. So let's just qualify the shefa, which is called mochem de Katnus, is called chagas, as opposed to mochem de Gadlus, which is going to be called Chabad. Makes sense. Now, the only tricky part is when we're working with this mochem de Chagas, this mochem de Katnus, or mochem de Yanika, all this, it means all the same thing. It's divided in two parts. So you're going to have to do the shefa twice over. You're going to have to be mamshich mikesa elyon, as we said, what's called the higher part of the chagas and the lower part of the chagas. The higher part of the chagas is called the chabad of the chagas. That's what we're going to be learning today. And the lower part of the chagas, what we learned originally, is called the nai and the chagas of the chagas. Right. Oh, maybe I said the opposite. We originally learned the chabad of the chagas. That's called the zivug apinimi. And what we learned today is the lower part called the nahi and the chagas of the chagas. Okay, so we spoke about it and we looked over here. Let me show you a picture over here at how the shefa looks. It looks a bit different over here. It's on page 143. Those have the booklet. It looks different than the zivug or the shefa pnimi. You're going to see that there's 3 columns over here. And it's called mabim. Why is it called mabim? Because there are 42 letters involved here. And the construct is as follows. How do you get 42 letters? Because you're going to have 3 different levels over here. The top level is called the poshut. That means you're going to have the havaya in a poshut form, which is yud kei vav kei. And then the next 3 lines over here, it's called the male. Or I should actually say the second line is called the male. And the next 2 lines over here is going to be called the male de male. Okay, you got that? So this is the poshut, the male, and then the male de male. And underneath there is also an intrinsic part. It's not part of the mab, but it's called the milui of the mab, or the milui of the male. This is, for example, you're dealing with ab over here. This is the gematria of ab, 72. So if you take away the 26 from here, which is the ikar, which is yud kei vav kei, you're left with just the milui, just the lema. We'll see exactly what that means exactly. So now there are 3 kavim over here. You have kav, yamin kav, a small kav, and so'i. This is what we call the mab, the 42 letters of the construct of the ab. This is the mab of the sag, because it's the gematria of sag over here. And this is the mab of the ma. So you have ab, sag, ma. So in short, you have a mab, which is 42 letters, of ab, sag, ma. That's the shefa you're going to bring down. Okay, that's shlab number 1. So let's see this on this diagram over here, which is an interesting diagram. We showed last time as well. So when we look at this diagram over here, we see that there's 2 parts of the shefa, as we explained last time.
Each one has got 42 letters, each of these 3.
Yeah. There's 2 parts to this chart over here. So you're going to have the chabad of the chagat, which is all represented green. That's the shefa. Remember, this is all chagas. And then you have the 9 chagas of the chagas, which is represented over here. So this is the lower part, which is called the chitzon part of the chagas. And then you have what's called the chabad of the chagas, which is the higher part. So we discussed this already. Now we're moving on to this stage. So these are the 3 kavim that we spoke about right now. There's the poshut, the mali, and the mali in small. Now that's when you say the word bobo. When you say bobo, they all come out. Where do they come out? They come out from the kesa edyon. They go to the atik, arich, like we saw over here, and they finally go to abba v'ima, and then they start descending. When you say Ata, they come one by one. So the Kav Yamin is going to come down when you say Ata. When you say Hashem's name, then the middle Kav is going to come down. And then when you finally say Elokainu, then the Kav small is going to come down. That's it. As simple as that. Interesting enough, when we said Elokainu, by the Chabad Chagas, which is a Shefa Pnimi, we had no Kavanos on here for Elokainu. We had stopped our Pirushim by Hashem. But by Elokainu, we'll find there is a Kavan over here. But that's going to be for the Chitzon, the Zivug Chitzon, or the Shefa Chitzon. Okay, that's all we're going to be learning. So again, Kav Yamin, Kav Mtsoi, Kav Small. So let's see that in the words of the Rashash now. Now that we know what we're headed for.
So the Chitzon is what is the Shefa
Chitzon?
The Moich and the Kabbalists.
Everything's called Moch and the Kabbalists B'chlolos. That's called the Chagas. Moch and the Kabbalists is Chabad, that we'll see later on, Melech Olam. So the Chagas is divided in two parts. There's a Chabad of the Chagas and then the Nai and the Chagas of the Chagas.
We do know the Nai.
Nai, the Chagas of the Chagas. Right. Now, where did this mab come from? This 42 construct.
Is it Mabim because it's Lashon Rabin?
Yeah. Where do these Mabim come from? Where do they come from? These 42 letters. So let's look at a chart. We looked at this beforehand, and this is a very famous chart, a very important chart, and it helps in all areas of Kabbalah. And this to understand the construct of a sphere. Okay, so here's the chart over here. This chart we saw beforehand. Now you have to understand every sphere can be subdivided in 4 different parts. Every sphere, for example, this is Keser, Chochma, Bina. Why only those 3 we're going to discuss? Because those are the most important ones. The Zayin Tachtonim over here, the Zayin Tachtonim are not so intrinsic right now. Now, in Keser, you can divide the Keser into 4 different parts, meaning there's a Panim to it, and there's an Achoraim part to it. Yeah? A back and front. Kivyachol. That's one division. Well, that's 2 divisions, 1 and 2. Now, you can also divide it by the Teisha spheres, right? Not Tol Sofer, but Teisha spheres. And then the Malchus. Okay? So that means in Keser you have 10 spheres, you divide the first 9, and then the Malchus. So you're going to divide that both on the Panim side and the Achoraim side. So those are 4 divisions. Panim, Achoraim, Teisha spheres, and Malchus. Now, what does that give you? Practically, because you don't see this type of division in the Siddur, but rather every sphere you don't see spheres in the Siddur B'chlal. How is spheres represented in a Siddur when you look at it, right? Not in Siddur Pashtani, but in Siddur Mekubalim. How is it represented by Havayas? That's all we have, Havayas. So Kes is represented by the Havaya HaPoshut, meaning Yud Kei Vav Kei. So you see Yud Kei Vav Kei, you know that's a representation of a Keser. Okay. So in Yud Kei Vav Kei, I'll have the Teisha Spheros Elyonim. So what does that represent? So that represents what's written over here, Bechinas Oisius. That's called Bechinas Oisius. When you're dealing with the first, this is I'm not going to go through all the explanation for this, but in Otzrot Chaim state that the first 9 spheres, especially the Rashash, are represented by what's called Oisius. When you're dealing with the Malchus of that sphere, you're dealing with the Gematria of the Havaya. Okay? Now, so therefore, when you're dealing with the Yud Kei Vav Kei, so the Oisius, if I tell you I want to know the Teisha spheres, how does it look like in the Siddur? So I would see the Havaya written out in Oisius, Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's a reference not only to Keser, but that's a bit more information to tell me that we're talking about the Teisha spheres Elyonim of the Keser. Now, if I see the Yud Kei Vav Kei written in a Gematria form, Ku, which is 26, I know we're talking about the Malchus of the Keser. It's all coded language, but that's the way the Arizal divides it and codifies it. Now, we're not talking about the Otzrot Chaim, but which we'll not see in Matbayah Bracha, but still I'll tell you is the same division. Otzrot Chaim would be, again, Teisha spheres would be when you see the oisius, then you know it's Achoraim. And when you see the Gematria, that's going to be a reference to the Malchus.
But what's it's written backwards?
Oh, so what's the difference between the Panim and the Achoraim? It's the same thing, but you'll find the Havai is written a bit different in the Achoraim. It's going to be written Yud, then Yud K, then Yud K Vav, and Yud K Vav K. It's like sort of drawn along. That's a reference of a less of a shefa. That's Achoraim is always a significance to less of shefa, a lessering of shefa. That gematria would be 72, right? When you read it, and on the side of Panim is Poshut. Yud Kei Vav Kei is 26, but the gematria, for example, the Malchus of that kesed, that would be 72. Okay, that's what would be different. When you're working with Chochmah, how would you see the Chochmah represent? You represent again Yud Kei Vav Kei, but in a way which is Male. So it won't be Yud Kei Vav Kei, it would be Yud Vav Dalet. You spell it outwards. Beder Yosha. So Yud Kei Vav Kei, Kei Yud Vav Aleph Yud Kei Yud, which would be Ab. Now, again, you would split it up, Teshus Fiel said Yonim, so you'd see the letters actually written, and then the Gematria, which would be 72, and then you'd see the Achoraim written as well.
How do you see that would be different between that and the Kesselans?
That would be, so the Achoraim would be spelled Yud Vav Dalet, and then you start again, Yud Vav Dalet, K Yud, and then Yud Vav Dalet, K Yud, Yud Vav Dalet. Yeah, that's why it's called Achoraim, because it's a schlepping out, it's called Ribua. It's a Ribua of the Shem. And then when you're dealing with Bina, it's the Male Dimale. It's even more. It's Male Dimale. Okay, so instead of spelling Yud, that would be Poshut. The Male would be Yud Vav Dalet. So the Male Dimale would be Aleph Lamed Pei. And then Lamed Mem Dalet. And then Pei is Pei Hey. That's the Aleph. And then you continue. Hey is...
Where did you get the Aleph to start with?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's Eke.
Yeah.
So it's Yud, right? So that'll be Yud Vav Dalet. And then the Vav of that Yud is Vav Vav. And then the Dalet, Dal Lametes. That would spell Yud. Oh, that would spell Yud, right.
Okay. And the Ach would be even more.
And the Achai would just be the but schlepped out. So you spell all that Aleph, and then spell it again, and then add the Hey. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so that was.
Is anything written out on it?
Sorry?
Is anything written, my son? We had before.
I have a chart. Yeah, I have a chart called the Rafach charts, but I don't want to go too much in length because now we saw in Otzrot Chaim in Sha'ar Rafach, Perek Dal and Perek He, we spoke about that at length. But what's important to us is, again, I'm going to stress this point because it's nogea to Matbayah Bracha. The Keser is nogea to the Poshut. This is the Male, and this is going to be the Male. Now, this, again, not to make things too complicated, this is representing the Ab. There are going to be 4 of these charts. So this is going to be the Ab chart. You can have another Sag chart. You can have another one like this, Ma, and another one of Ben. Those are the 4 main charts. So again, so the nafkami would be not in Pasha, because Pasha is always the same, Yud Kei Vav Kei in all 4 charts, but rather it would be, the nafkami would be in Chochmah Bina, because then you start splitting it outwards. So the Male of Ab would be, is Ab, 72, and then if you do the next chart, it would be Sag, with 63, and so on and so forth. And the Male and Male also be a nafkamina. Male and Male. Okay? So, saying that, when you're dealing over here with the Mab of Ab, what would that signify? That signify Mab, again, being on all 3 different levels. So let's see if I have a bigger picture of this. Yeah. So we're working with Ata. Okay. So this would be the Poshut with Yud Kei Vav Kei. Then you'd word with a chokhmah of that, which is the Male, and then this is the Male, the Male. So since this is, I can tell this is an Ab, this signifies to me this is the Mab, the Ab. Does that make sense?
That's got 42 letters. The Bina.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have
All
another
together.
10 over here, and then you have another 28 over here. The 28 and 10 and 4 is a 42. Okay, that's your mab over here. But what type of mab? Mab of ab.
Yeah.
I can tell. Remember, the chokhmah is the mali. Which mali of what? Of the ab. Then when I'm working with the next one, for example, in Hashem, I'm also going to find a mab over there. So here it is. You have the Yud Ke Vav Ke, and then the male. But this male is of a sag, and this is the male of the male. The sag in Elokainu, you have the male of a ma. Gematria 45 here. That would make enough to be the male of the male. Again, also 42 letters.
And Ben you don't have here.
Ben we don't have. And let's discuss why Taka Ben we don't have. Right. So with that, let's start over here reading in the Shah Kiseh Kovod, in the Otzrot Chaim, the Shah called Kiseh Kovod, Shah Mem Vav, and Perek Zayin. And he says as follows: Inyan Shemab Yesh Bekol Min Gimul Olamas Atzilus Bria Etzia. See that?
What the right page?
No, turn to the first page. Or second page. Second page just after that, yeah.
Show me the
There we go. Yeah. Inyan Shemab Sheyesh Bekol Oilum. Now, let's say, okay, so he started by telling us some information. Where is this mab located? In every world you have, we know there's 4 worlds: Atzilus, Bria, and Yetzia, and Asiya. In every world you have a mab. Okay, min gimel olamas atzilus bria atzia. Excuse me, masha enke b'olam atzia, like you were asking, we don't have. We'll explain why. Kenizka ksav yad b'chisoran etikunim. Hine elu hem, and these are he's going to identify these abim, these mabim. Sorry, mab datzilusu dalid oisius pshutim havaya, v'yud oisius mali alafim shehem gematria ma. V'kaf ches 28 oises milui de milui dalofim. Okay, so that's he's explained to us what is the mab of the ma that you find in the world of Atzilus. And now there's another mab. Shem.
Alpha means an Eka.
Sorry.
It means Alpha means an Eka.
One second. No, he says the poshut is Havaya, Yud Ke Vav Ke, and Yud Alofim the Ma, because the Havaya the Ma is called Alofim because you find aleph inside, and then you have 28 letters of the Milui the Alofim. Now Shem Mab the Bria Hem Shtei Shemus Eke v'Yaku. And now the one we find in Bria has a different formation. It's Eke v'Yaku. V'chein Eke, Asher Eke, hu Gematria Mab. It's also the Gematria Mab. That's 21 and 21 is 42. Now, V'shem Mab di Yetzira. Now, what's the Mab that we find in the Olam Yetzira? Hu Mab HaRamuz Berosh Tevus Ana Bekoach Shehu Avgitatz. Right? So we find in Ana Bekoach you have 42 letters over there. That's also a mab. Okay? Not at all what I explained to you. I told you there's 3 types of mab called the mab de ab and the mab de sag and the mab de ma. And here is explaining 3 different types of mab. So let's continue. Gam tzor shededa ki dalet havayas hem. There's 4 different types of havayas. Echad havaya de ab de yudim de atzilus. Vahavaya de sag bebria. ודמה די יצירה, ודבן די עשייה. והנה, בכל הוויה מן הגר הנ"ל, דאצילס בריא יצירה, יש בהם סוד מב עטוון כנ"ל. There are also, in every single world, the secrets of the 42 letters. Mab Atvan. כי ד' אויסס הפשוטים, וי' אויסס המילוי, וכ' ח' אויסס דמילוי. הרי מב דהוויה דאב. Oh, this is what I told you. So the world of Atzilus would find mab de'ab. But the havaya de sag, and that would be in Bria, and then the havaya de mab Mab Dema would be found in the world of Yetzirah. Aber Havai de Ben Shu Asiya Ein Ba Mab Aspan. He mentions that point again, that in Asiya you don't have. Now we explained last time what is the tachlis of Mab. The Shah Kavanis explains to us the Mab is the lift, is the koach of aliyah. What is it but male? Like everything else we do, is always male in nitzutzos. Without Mab, you have no aliyah. Why are there three? Because Mab is the gematria of 14 times 3. What's 14? 14 is a yad. Yad. You have 3 hands. You have a right hand, a left hand, and also when you're picking up a big package, is that you need sometimes your body to help you. That's also considered to be a yad. So you have 3 yads. These yads, or you have this 14 times 3, these 3 hands, spiritual hands, are there to help you lift up this birurim. Every time you do a mitzvah, every time you do daven, whatever, you're sending down spiritually these 3 hands down into bria, tziyasiyah, and lifting up, helping you lift up all these shivrei kelim, and that's the tachlis of all things.
Like in the 3 kavim.
The 3 kavim, yeah, the 3 kavim. And Mimela, that is the koach. Now, when you go down from the world of Yetzirah, imagine you're standing in the world of Yetzirah and you're sending down your hands into the world of Bria, you're lifting it up. When you're standing in Bria, you're going down to Yetzirah. When you're going down when you're in Yetzirah, you're going down into the world of Asiyah. But once you're in the world of Asiyah, there's nothing below it. You don't need an extra up for that. That's the reason why there's no Mabim in the world of Asiyah, because there's nothing you have to go in there for. You always have to go into the lower worlds. Now, the Arizal is pointing out there are 2 sets of Mabim. There's a Mabim that we're describing here in the Matbayah Bracha, which is the Mab of Absag Moben. But there's also another type of Mab, as explained, interesting enough, that is Dalet Pshutim, which is in Atzilus we find a Mab Dema. In Bria we find that it's a Shem Ekev Yaku, and in the world of Yetzirah it's called what did he call it? He called Mab Aromos Bereshit Tevis Ana Bekoach. It's a Mana Bekoach. In fact, we find that in the Siddur. When you're in Korbanos, you're saying Ana Bekoach. That is a signal to you that you're using your Koach and Mab to lift things up. So which one is it? Is it the 3 Mabim that we spoke about here in Matbayah Bracha, or is it a completely different set of ab? So the Mafashim answer, and I saw this in the Kudas Kesef, he said that it's Mavur and Shah Kavanas and in the Siddur Rashash that you are lifting up 2 different sets of birurim. One set of birurim is called, without getting too technical, it's called Bia de Tachtonim. You're raising up the nitzutzits which are found in a place called Bia Tachtonim. And when you are focusing on Bia Datzilus is called, that means in Atzilus also there's also a private Bia which goes down, then you're going to need a completely different type of Birurim, of Mab, this Koach Valiyah, to do that as well. So since you're dealing with Bia Tachtonim and you're dealing with Bia Datzilus, you're going to need 2 different sets of Mabim in order to lift it up. Is that making sense? When we go down into Bia, we're lifting up 2 different types of Birurim. One Birurim which are part and parcel of the Bia Tachtonim. Another which is part and parcel of the Bia Datzilus, which is found in the Tachtonim.
That fell in me now.
That went down, yeah, that went down. So when we're working with what's Nogea to us, the Matbayah Bracha, we're dealing specifically with the Bia Datzilus. The birurim which apply to the Bia Atzilus. That's what we're working with. That's why we need to see 1 set of Mabim. Mashenken in Tefillah, there is more concentrating on both types, but specifically on the Bia Tachtonim, the lower ones, the harder ones. And that's why you're going to need different types of shemus over there. Okay, so that for emphasis that. And that for emphasis as well, why we find no Mabim in Asiyah. Okay. So let's continue over here. So let's now start reading the Rashash. Let's start reading the Rashash now inside, and let's try to make sense out of this. Before that, we have to understand what are at the bottom. At the bottom we said there are miluim over here. This is the milui of the ab, and all the other pages as well. We'll say Baruch Atah Hashem. We'll find the milui of the sag. Oh, where is it?
Oh, yeah, well done.
Here we go. This is the milui of the sag, and over here this is the milui of the ma. What's it doing over there? So the way it's brought down is that the posher, this keser, the chokhmah, the male is chokhmah, the male is bina. Where's the zayin tachtonim? So they say this is the Me'il Eliyahu says this is bimkom the zayin tachtonim. And so v'kitzur you have all SS fields lined up in that surah. You have keser, chokhmah, bina, and the milo is going to be the zayin tachtonim. So you're going to use that thrust. The whole crust of that shefa is going to come down. That mab, the koach of Eliyah is going to go down into bia and bring everything up for you.
Where's that coming from? From Keser Eliyah?
Yeah. It's also coming from Keser Eliyah. Yeah, correct. So let's start working. Let's start working with the siddur now, and let's see how it works. Okay, Ata. So let's read the Rashash inside. Okay, let's start from the word Baruch actually. Let's go into the Siddur over here. The Siddur in Baruch, it says, Yichavan lehamshich shefa mezivug. Now you're in Zivug Penimi. That's Zivug Penimi, you're going to have to turn over. That's it. Just further down. Wait, so over here, this is already starts with Zivug Chitzah, a different parasha. Yichavan lehamshich shefa mezivug Chitzah, shu nai the chagatz of the chagatz. Haniska, the Ma'u ben the Arich, both on the right and left hand side of Arich. Lezivug Achitzon Anaz Shunai the Chagat, the Chagat, the Ma'u ben the Abba v'Ima v'Yasif. So you're bringing down the shefa from Atik and Arich all the way down to Abba v'Ima v'Yisrael Saba and Tfuna. Now, B'Yachavin Zivug Partzuf Nai v'Chagat the Chagat the Abba v'Ima v'Lehamshech mezivug Zim Mochim the Oisyois the Gimel Mab the Asmab. That means what? Mab of Ab, Mab of Sag, Mab the Ma. V'Gimul Milui Ehem. That's what's underneath. Now what is that representing? The Zayin Tachtonim. So you're going to have the Keser Chochmah Bina and then the Zayin Tachtonim. Im Naranchi. What's Naranchi? Naranchi is always the Shefa Panimi that energizes the Shefa. Because again, if you don't go all the way back to the Ein Sof, your Koitzes Nitzir is K'man. Right? Rashash is very makbid on this, we said. So that's going to be what we're going to see over here. That is the Naranchi. This the life source is a representation. This Eken Havaya Benikud is a representation of the Ein Sof coming in. Now the Nachiv. Now, why is it Nachid? And that's which represents Neshama Chai Yechida, because we're dealing with the Kachav, meaning I need a lot of charts here, a lot of hands here. Since we're dealing with what? We're dealing with, this is Ab, for example, right? We're dealing with the Poshu, the Mali. Right? And that's Keser Chochmah Bina, that's Kachav. So we're using the Kachav of the Ab. The Kachav of the Ab, which is the Poshu, and the Mali, so Basach will have 42 letters out of this, but we're using only the first 3 spheres of this Mab. Okay? Keneged that is going to be the Neshama Ruach, Neshama Chai Yechida. The Ruach means we're dealing with the Shefa of Chitzon, Shebehem. Okay? The Rashash always does this. We'll find that he really spells out the Kabbalah in 2 different ways. One to deal with the Morchim, one to deal with the actual Shefa and Sof. He also translates it that way. So describe this process in 2 different ways.
So how is Nachi representing Kachab?
Sorry?
How does this Nachi? How does it represent? How is it representing?
Oh, actually the Mefarshim actually ask this as a question. They say, why does Hashem have to repeat it twice? Why have to repeat it twice? And there's a little bit of It has been, and that you'll need a little bit of history because I understand that the Siddur Rashash has passed through many different hands of great Mekubalim that due to their concerns that the Kavanos are not going to be passed over in the right way, they start adding their own notes. And as the generations come along, you have a lot of different notes and sub-notes added in. So to the point we're not always convinced that this is the actual writings of the Rashash, believe it or not. It's scary, but that's the truth of the matter. Obviously written by Gedolei Mekubalim, and that's why it's always printed in the Siddur Rashash. But this is not the way the Siddur Rashash looks like at the end of the day. This is many generations afterwards, and it's put in a very nice format. But if you see the original Rashash's notes, it's like maybe 6 pages. We have thousands of pages now in the Siddur. And it's written hand notes, so you can definitely tell who's added what, different handwritings. But when we come out with the new Siddur, for example, these, it looks like very standard. So for us to read it straight, it doesn't make so much sense to us because it seems to be repeating itself twice. But
I can't see how it's repeating. How does Nachi? I mean, where's it?
So Nachi is Neshama Chayechid.
Yes.
Which I'm explaining is a reference to Kesach Chochma Bina.
Why? How does that work?
How does that work? Because that has to do with the Mab, the Asmab. The Mab, the Asmab. That means the Mab of Ab.
It's connected to Nefesh.
The Ab. This is the Ab. Right. This is the shefa you bring in. This is actual shefa you bring in. We're bringing down the 3 top parts of that shefa. The Kesach Chochma Bina. That's the Kachav. Or I can say that I'm bringing down the Yechida and the Chaya and the Ruach. Okay, I say that right. No, Neshama. Sorry, Neshama Chaya Yechida.
Yeah.
I can call it Neshama Chaya Yechida. I can call it Bina Chochma Kesach.
Yeah.
So he called it Mab de Asmad would have been enough. But he's adding now, so you can also call it in a different loshon called Neranchi loshon, Neshama loshon is right. This was more Svir's loshon, Svir loshon Mab de Asmab, and now he's calling it in the loshon of Neshama, which he's calling this Neshama Chai Yechida.
To remind you that your mom is feeding with her.
It could be the pshat. They bring it down from the answer. The ruach is another loshon for it's called the chagat of the chagat because we're dealing with the lower part. Really, theoretically, it should have been nefesh v'ruach the ruach because it's we're dealing with the nai and the chagas of the chagas. But he wrote as a short ruach the ruach. So sort of you have to. It's all coded, extremely coded. Anybody looks at this, they see mumble jumble, and I can understand why. Right. Okay. A bikit. So that is the shefa. So let's see it inside. So there's the zivug achitzon that we're talking about here. There's a zivug achitzon, right? And that then you're going to have. You're going to find the kav thing. All this is ab, by the way. So this is ab, this is the sag, and this is and this is the ma. Okay, and this is the 42, and this is the milah. Okay, is that clear? Very good. Excellent. So let's continue right there. Page 144. When we do ata, again is zivug elyon. Remember why we're making zivugim. Every time we make a zivug, that's the only way you can move shefas, the alidei zivug. Okay, that's what's another zivug over here. Was a zivug achitzon again. You're going to be mamshich the sheva. Sorry, no, this is a zivug panimi. You got to keep track here. So with the page, here we go.
But always in zivug panimi, the egg has first, and the zivug achitzon, and the
Yeah. Now. Over here on page 145, so Yechav Lahamshich Mab the Ab Ima Miluav Im Nachi the Chaya the Ruach. So again, the Mab comes back again. The exact same Mab the Ab that we saw beforehand is coming back again. But now you're drawing it down further down. Where you bring it down to, he says, Liponim the Tesha Sfios, the Kachab, the Chachan, because you're dealing with the right calf now. That's Chochma Chesed Neta. The Nai B'Chagad, the Chagad, the Ma Uben, the Ma, the Zun. Okay, that means you're bringing that all the way down to Zun. So you bring Kitzu, you're bringing the right calf all the way down from Zun. You understand what I'm talking about? You originally brought it from Atik, Atik, then Arich, then Abba V'Ima, Yisro Saba, and now you're bringing it down to Zun. That exact same shefa, nothing's changed. You're just drawing down the shefa that you originally brought down. Right? Let me show you this picture if you don't understand. So again, we brought down all this. That was the original picture. We brought all three kavim down. That's it. Now when I want to bring it down to Zah, I'm going to bring one kav at a time. So when I say Ata, I'm going to bring down the Chacham kav. When I say Hashem's name, I'm going to bring down the middle kav. When I say Elokainu, I'm going to bring down the kav small. Okay? So, Hashem, so let's see the inside. Hashem, I'm going to bring down the Ma. That's the Kavim Tsoy in this picture. Here it is, that's the ganze Mab. I'm bringing it down exactly to Zun. And then finally, when I say Elokainu, I'm finally bringing the Kav small, and here it is. The Mab de Sag. The only thing I want to point out at this point is that it's very strange over here. Because B'derech Klal in all the kavanas, what we usually bring down is the right kav, and then the left kav, right, and then the middle kav. For some reason here, we're bringing the right kav, the middle kav, and the left kav. Now I'll tell you the truth, I haven't found any great answers to this, but the Mefarshim speak about this. Now Rav Shari de Belevsky has a piece on this. He's a big Rav in Bnei Brak, a Baal Mechaben. He wrote a sefer called Pesach Hanayim HaChodesh, on the Kavanas, and he writes as follows: Kosav ba Gobi beSefer Olas Tamid. Olas Tamid is one of the Kitva Arizal on Daf, and then there's a Go from Rav Halpern, and he writes on Daf Tet Zayin on the base or his base the Makshima Olam Dayatzorich Lios Chesed VaAchagar Gevura. That means right and then left, and then Tifer and the Tiferes, which is in the middle, right? The kids are right, left, and center. That's where you move Shefa. Keseder Chagatz. V'lo Tiferes v'achgar Gvura. V'kosav le'el b'tos Chocham. Tos Chocham was the Tamid Muvak of the Rashash. Tamid Chaber of the Rashash. On Dav Kuf Samech Aleph Ayin Aleph. Ube'emes le'Yakov Ma'areres Tzadig Ois Chav Beis she'omdu b'zeh. That's his kasha. He doesn't bring the tenets. Other Mefarshim did bring the terutzim of these two Gedolim Kabbalim, and they usually end up saying, we don't know what they're talking about. So deep, very, very deep, and I saw the explanation, I have no idea what they're saying either. And he says as follows, Muvu Hasham, Shu al Seder Malatz, Ane'emar be'Otzrot Chaim Shach, that's it, that's all it says. Umisham Asadin, now, this is Shol Dweck HaKohen, who wrote a tremendous pirush, Efer Shlomo on the Otzrot Chaim. He writes, Sheshemati, that he heard in his name, Shuhu al der Pesach Shvuz v'Rosh Hashanah. Shu Yamin, Emsa, and then small. So you have Pesach, and then you have Shvuz, and then the Magal goes around, and you have Rosh Hashanah. So we feed with Bikitzu, V'aynu or be'Otzrot Chaim, Shar Yud, Pei Aleph, Perkav, the Gamalias Kelim, B'Shas Tikun, who said Yamin, Emsa, small. Ad Kan L'Shai. So it's not really a teres, but really what he's saying, Rav Shalom Sharabi, there are places in a time that we'll find Shinoi Teva, and we'll find Taka that they do such a mahalach of going from Yamin, Emsa, and small. Okay, so I think we're running out of time, so we'll stop it here. And also there's another kasha while we don't see any kalim over here, and a few tools for that, but we'll do that maybe next time. Okay, just got it.